Okay, hi. As promised, I'm back with some more content. Three random book reviews in no particular order. This is Girl in White Cotton. Avni Doshi. It's obviously like highly recommended and like it's on every list and it's supposed to be amazing. Like it's a good book, obviously. It talks about a relationship between a mother and daughter, which is actually quite toxic. It's very is the feeling you get when you're reading it. Basically, it's very uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable, but that's the idea of the book. It's very like raw and emotional and like I think it really showcases how women can be really horrible to each other, but not in the way that like men depict women being horrible to each other. Like when men write women being mean to each other, they're like competing for a man or whatever. But this is so much more than that. Like it's obviously written by a woman. It shows like a dark side that I think people tend to gloss over when they talk about women in general. So I like that it has more depth than the average book about woman on woman conflict. So I really liked it. It has stayed with me. A lot of the images from like the mental images from the book have stayed with me. It obviously lives up to all the hype. Next, Mohana Swami. This was originally written in Kannada. I've read the English translation. It's a story of a gay man in Karnataka. I like many things about it. The translation, not so much, because I feel like some of it it doesn't read well, at least to someone who constantly reads English literature. And I also read translations from other languages, but this one was just translation was a little not so great. Especially being someone from Karnataka, you can tell that some of the things you can tell what it would have sounded like in Kannada, but it's not working in English. Anyway, story of a gay man in Karnataka. Very cool intersection between LGBTQIA life and experiences and the context being Karnataka, right? Because it's hard to find contemporary literature that's like that, that meets those criteria. It was not as depressing as I thought it would be. I thought it would just be like non-stop, like difficulty, difficulty, discrimination, discrimination, which of course there is a lot of that, and it is very heartbreaking in many parts of it, and it just showcases how cruel we are as a society. Honestly, we're really just horrible people. Just everybody is horrible. But there is a lot of hope and a lot of sweetness and a lot of love also in the book. Like, I think it really showcases how, I mean, same sex love is eventually about love. So it doesn't matter which gender you're dating, what gender you are. Like, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I feel if there are young gay men in Karnataka and they get a chance to read this, it'll make them feel a lot better because people commit suicide all the time over things like this, and it's just very sad, men especially. So it's very heartbreaking. So I really hope that this helps change that and helps give some young boys some hope that they are not alone in their experience. And I really hope society gets over homophobia because it is just pointless. Anyway, calming down. 4 out of 5 if the translation was better. 4 out of 5 only because I wanted more. 3 out of 5 given the translation right now, I think. Between 3.5 out of 5, I would say. Breasts and eggs. I very randomly found this. I hadn't heard of it, hadn't seen it on any list or anything like that. I just randomly found it at like a pop-up shop and I bought it. It is slow in parts. Like there are some parts like in the middle. I was like, okay, come on, let's get a move on. But overall, I think it covers some very important subjects. A lot of like female family relationship stuff, which is very nicely written. Also, it talks about these three women basically, two sisters and their mom. About no, two sisters and the sister's daughter. Sorry, and their relationship with each other, and then it goes on to talk about like being a single mom and like what about artificial insemination, what about heredity, what about paternity, what about like your genetics, how much do you want to know, how does it impact you if you find out later in life. A lot of those like questions around how your genes define you and how knowing clearly about your genes gives you a sense of identity that maybe not knowing doesn't have. So it addresses that from like an IVF kind of standpoint, like sperm donor standpoint, not so much from an adoption standpoint. um, so it's very interesting to see all of those angles, because I personally don't come across that kind of thing in my day-to-day life. So it was very interesting to sort of take a look into this other universe that a lot of people live in. So that was really interesting. Because it's a little slow, I'll give it 3 out of 5. I feel like it could have been shorter, and like it would have been more fun to read if it was shorter. That's all for now. I'll put all this in the link to my Amazon storefront in my description below. Please buy it from my Amazon storefront. Some 5 rupees I'll get from multiple purchases. So help me. Thank you. Breasts and eggs, 3 out of 5. Monoswami, 3.5 out of 5. Only because of translation, 4.5 out of 5 for overall content. And Girl in White Cotton, 4.5 out of 5. Just really enjoyed it. Okay, bye.